how you doing? Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube talk show, Down2Earth with Day King. Today we have a special guest here, David Bronk, and pretty unique individual. I think you'll find out through the interview here that he's got a unique story, backline on himself. Owner of the championship,
Extreme Fighters World Championships.
Extreme Fighters World Championship. David Bronk here with us today.
Thank you, Dathan.
How you doing, David?
Appreciate it.
All right, all right. So, David, if you could, for the people that don't know, where are you originally from?
Well, I'm from Florida. I was born in the Gulf of Mexico down there called Pensacola, Florida. You know, I used to talk like that. You know, my name's Dave. And my dad was in the Marines, so you can imagine we lived everywhere. North Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, and all those southern states. But then we got transferred out here to California when I was in 5th grade to Westminster.
To Westminster?
In Westminster. We moved to Westminster.
Wow.
Went to a little elementary school called Finley. Then we moved into Garden Grove. Okay. No, actually, I stayed in Westminster. I went to a junior high school named Warner Junior High School.
Okay.
Then I moved into Garden Grove and went to an old alma mater of ours called Bolsa Grande High School.
Bolsa Grande High School.
So, yeah. And that's the story of that. And you know, then I started my martial art career at the age of 17 years old.
So you were 17 years old when you first started your martial arts career. Now, let me ask you this question: what was it that sparked that interest?
Well, I'll back up a little more. I actually started with judo first on the Marine base and back in the South in North Carolina. Judo for about 3 years. That was something my dad liked. And
so you were 14.
I was real young when we did that, and then we moved to California in 5th grade. And the next thing I know, he's got me over at the Westminster Boxing Club boxing. I don't know if you remember the Westminster Boxing Club had some great guys like Carlos Palomino and some other great fighters. So
right there by the McDonald's?
By Sigler Park. Sigler Park.
I know exactly where that's at. Yeah. Okay.
So there were some great boxers out of there. My dad really liked the boxing, and so he wanted me to do that. But all of a sudden, you know, family problems. My mom and dad got divorced. That's when we moved into Garden Grove. My mom got remarried. And that guy was a genius of a guy. And so I played sports and studied a lot. And
now, were you being sarcastic when you said that, or did you really mean he was a genius?
What's that? Say again?
I said, were you being sarcastic, or did you really mean that he was a genius?
He was a genius. He was a genius. And he was very intelligent, real different from my dad in the Marines. He was tough. He was smart too, but he was a tough guy. And like my brother and I had a fight all the time, you know. So we were kind of fighting kids when we grew up. You know, my brother was really tough. He was won Garden Grove League wrestling and stuff like that. He was killed in a car accident when he was 19, but anyway, so I was 17 when he got killed. So he really sparked me to go do the martial arts because his friend was a brown belt at this studio in Garden Grove. And so that's where my martial arts started. One of the reasons I got involved was kind of a dying request from my brother, basically, to get into the martial arts, and so I did.
Wow.
And, never stopped.
Just took it from there.
I'm 62 years old now, and I have never stopped training since I was 17.
All right.
It's been good to me.
All right. Well, obviously it's been very good to you. I mean, there's been several. You've had a lot of success in it. Let me ask you this. Have you been in competitions? Are there any special competitions that you may have been a part that stand out from the rest?
I've been very blessed. Started fighting a lot. I won the Long Beach International Championships 8 times.
8 times.
In 1974, I faced the #1 lightweight fighter in the world, Benny the Jet Urquidez. And I'm the only guy that's ever beat him.
Wow.
So that was kind of an honor.
Tell me about that fight. Tell us about that fight.
It was a great fight. Benny,
take us back there.
In 1973, I had won the brown belt championship at the Long Beach International. This tournament introduced Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and everybody like that in the 60s. This is the biggest event in the world. 10, 15,000 spectators would come to watch this event.
Wow.
At the Long Beach Arena.
Okay.
So 1973, I won the brown belt championship. 1973, Benny the Jet won the black belt lightweight championship. We met each other in 1974 for the lightweight championship, and I upset him. I'd only been a black belt for 4 months.
Wow.
And this is the #1 lightweight fighter in the world. So it's funny we're bringing him up because we just talked yesterday.
Really?
Benny and I still keep in touch. There's a book out on Benny called Benny the Jet. Benny is the greatest lightweight fighter of all time, trust me.
Yeah.
I had my day that day.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And
what was your time to shine that day?
Well, it was time to shine, and I never got beat in the lightweight finals ever. I won 82 lightweight championships in a row.
All right.
Now, I lost 5 times to some other guys in what they call the elimination rounds. You know, sometimes you go through quarterfinals and semifinals to get to the finals.
Okay.
And back in that day.
Okay.
And then, you know, it came in the one-on-one fight in kickboxing, and Benny never lost that. He was the undefeated lightweight kickbox fighter of the world.
Wow.
So, yeah. So when we fought, it was the semi-contact, you know, hard as you can to the body, sweeps, takedowns, grabs, bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
It was bare knuckle,
Yeah.
and it was all brutal stuff. And
yeah, I'm sure.
I have the scars to prove it. You know.
I'm sure you do.
Broken rib, jaw. If you notice, I have hearing aids in my ears.
Right.
That's from all those fights.
From getting hit.
Getting hit, and my hearing's gone and stuff. But
Sure.
but that's okay. That's okay. You know, God is good. You know,
God is good.
He's been great to my life. And so there were some ups and downs, you know, during that career of the competition years.
Okay.
I was very fortunate to be asked to fight on the first PKA professional karate team ever in America. They had the greatest fighters of all time: Joe Louis, Bill Superfoot Wallace, Jeff Smith, Howard Jackson, guys like that. I'm sitting just like this next to the owner and president of the PKA, Mike Anderson, Bill Superfoot Wallace right here.
Right.
And they're trying to sign me to be on this team. And, you know, back then I was making more money teaching and running a karate school than these guys were getting paid to fight.
Wow.
So I said, thank you.
But no thanks.
No thanks.
Gotcha.
And so I just kept teaching. And I would fight, you know, periodically at places. And, but, you know, then I hit the rocky road a little bit. I got involved with some bad things and bad people and doing drugs and things like that.
Okay.
You know, and as you know, and I know from, you know, when you give your life up to Jesus Christ, your world changes.
Sure it does.
And that's exactly what I did 17 years ago.
Nice.
And so I'm so thankful.
Nice.
I'm so thankful.
All right.
God is good.
Well, let's talk a little bit about going down that alternate path. I mean, what do you think it was that actually altered your path? I mean, do you know?
You know, to the bad.
Because you were on such a good.
Yeah, to the bad side.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what happened was I decided to open a karate school, kickboxing place up in Placentia, California.
I'm familiar with it.
In that area. And I started, you know, teaching some guys who were good fighters and stuff, but their job was selling drugs.
Okay. Okay. But they were fighters.
They were fighters, and there were some pretty good ones. Well, one of them was one of the top dealer guys in the world, and he just gave me a taste of it, and I started doing more of it and more of it and more of it.
Sure.
And I got.
So it was a social.
Because let me tell you something. It wasn't cut on in the street like most of it. This was the man. This was a multi-million-dollar a month.
When they didn't
this was a multi-million-dollar a month guy that was feeding me this stuff.
Okay.
Well, this person was followed from my school and murdered in Long Beach for this problem he had.
For the world that he was involved in.
He was big time.
Okay.
I'm not dropping names, but he was big time.
Okay.
And so the FBI came to me and questioned me how I knew him and blah, blah, blah. And I said he was my student and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, so I kind of started getting a little nervous about all that stuff.
Okay.
Well, I had a son.
Okay.
He's still around. I have a son. You know, I have my older son who's a pastor with Calvary Chapel, Justin.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't him that brought me to Christ. A lot of people would think that. It was my other son who was 14 years old, was going to Calvary and stuff. And he was the one that said, Dad, you need to come to church with me and give your life up. And that was 17 years ago.
Well,
amazing.
You can never mistake the love a son has for his father.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now he's kind of in a little bit of trouble, and I'm trying to help him back. And he seems to be back on the right path as well. So now God has turned me to help him. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
And I will never give up.
I'm definitely glad to hear that things are turning around for your son.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty amazing story that you just told us about. I know you don't want to drop any names, but you sure you don't, for the sake of the show?
No.
Okay.
No. We don't do it. We might not make it out this front door if we start dropping names. Word travels real fast.
Okay. Yeah. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
All
but
right.
again, I'm just so glad that that life has changed, and God has blessed me with a beautiful studio. We've been here 7 years. And we have a lot of kids. We have about 80 kids and got about 20-something adults. We're happy. And I got into the MMA world.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the MMA world and your league and you promoting fights, because you promote fights.
I've had a few. Yeah, we've had some good ones. I've had some of the biggest names in the business work for me.
Can you say some of the venues that you've promoted at?
Well, great. Let me back up a little bit, because in 2006, that's when it became legal to promote MMA in the state of California.
Okay.
Although MMA had started before that in the early 90s with the Gracies and all them,
exactly.
It really didn't become legal in California until 2006. So I put my hat in the game. I went through the whole process of filing for my license and all that. Well, apparently they invited hundreds of people who applied to the commission hearing in Los Angeles.
Okay.
The very first commission hearing in the history of California. And so I'm sitting there there's Oscar De La Hoya's people and all these people, and the commissioner comes down and says, well, hate to disappoint over 100 of you guys in here, but we're only choosing 15 people to be the first promoters in the history of California.
Wow.
My name was number 5 called.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Over Oscar De La Hoya.
Over
names
everybody.
Like that. Names like that. Wow.
They didn't give him his license.
And they didn't even give him his license?
No, they didn't. They gave other guys their license.
You have any idea what brought that about, why you were able to get the license?
Apparently when my resume stated of my martial art background and all my history, Bruce Buffer, the announcer for UFC, has been my friend for about 35 years,
Okay.
He used to watch me fight. I guess he wrote a letter to them.
Okay.
And then there were some letters from some of the great guys like Cecil Peoples and people that knew me in the business and recommended me that I'd be a good promoter. And so I think that's how I got in, It wasn't.
All right, so if you ever sees this, Oscar, eat your heart out, buddy.
Yeah.
He was in front of you.
But look at him now. Look at him now. He's amazing. He's got the greatest Friday night boxing shows. And Oscar, we love him. He's awesome.
No, we love you, Oscar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Come see me. I want to interview.
Absolutely. So anyways, that's how that got started. So I formed this LLC company called EFWC. I thought I wanted to be something different. I was the first one that had 4 call letters instead of UFC, people like that. I wanted EFWC, Extreme Fighters World Championship. So I got it.
Okay.
And then we were the first company in California history to promote the female fight. I had the first fight,
The first female MMA fight
ever.
You held it.
We held it.
Okay.
Right?
We have to talk about that.
Anaheim Convention Center.
Anaheim Convention Center, when? What year?
2006.
2006.
Yeah, 2000. Maybe I think that one was 2007. 2007.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, David?
We had Angela Hayes from Colorado Springs, Colorado, fighting Jennifer Tate, number 6 ranked female MMA girl.
Okay.
And she armbars Angela Hayes in about 2 minutes and almost snapped her arm out. Fight was over.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And that was the first one in history.
Yeah.
Right here in Anaheim, California.
Anaheim Convention Center. Yeah, it was amazing.
Anaheim Convention Center.
And we also helped promote a great Vietnamese fighter named Nam Phan.
Okay.
Nam Phan was from Garden Grove. He was great. After my event, he signed with UFC.
Really?
Yeah. He was fighting against Strikeforce in UFC after that. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. We had a lot of great people do things for us, work for me. The biggest event I helped was the Ring of Fire in the Philippines. I put together
What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is.
In the Philippines, the Ring of Fire was a huge MMA event we promoted. I have a promoter friend of mine out of Vegas named Ron De La Torre. Okay. He owned Platinum Fighting.
Okay.
He hired me and said, Dave, you're the best promoter. I want you. He hired me because I want you to give me the biggest names and I want you to put together something so different. So I put together the first team championships of MMA.
Okay.
I hired Horace Gracie.
Okay.
Ken Shamrock.
We all know those names.
Josh Burnett.
Wow.
Gold Course of Ishian of Armenia.
Yeah.
They were the 4 coaches I had.
Wow.
They had the Brazilian team, Armenian team, Josh Burnett American team, and Ken Shamrock American team. They all fought in the Philippines.
Yeah.
It was huge.
I bet it was.
Huge.
I bet it was.
And that became just great friends with all the Hoist Gracie, and I have lunch all the time in
Really?
Long Beach now and stuff.
Nice,
And it's
nice.
fun. It was a big event for me. And
Okay.
now when I do other smaller events, like at the Grove,
Mhm.
I do a show called The Untamed.
Okay.
The
That's
Untamed.
at the Anaheim Grove, right?
Anaheim Grove.
Okay.
We did 2 of them there. We had Untamed 1 and Untamed 2.
Okay.
And then now we're kind of putting together the Untamed series in Las Vegas.
Well, let me ask you this. So that brings me to my question.
Okay.
What does the future have in store for David Bronk
Yeah.
and your championship fighting league?
Great.
Tell us about that.
I'm very excited about this.
Okay.
There is a guy who owns a place called the Country Club,
Okay.
and he is partners with the guy who owns casinos named Jerry Caldell.
Okay.
Well, this person is named Big Daddy Carlos.
Big Daddy Carlos.
Beautiful person.
Like the name.
Beautiful guy. Knows everybody in the entertainment business. He owns a beautiful restaurant in Los Angeles called the Velvet Margarita. All right?
Wow,
It's
I think I've
very
actually heard of that.
A lot of celebrities go hang out there. It's in Hollywood, right? Nice place. And he owns the Country Club in Las Vegas that is fit like the Grove of Anaheim.
Okay.
And he wants to
Okay.
hold fights there.
Okay.
So
All right.
I went out to Vegas, toured the place. We have the hotels. We have the Golden Nugget, the Fremont, the Binions,
Okay.
and Four Queens.
All right.
That's our home base for hotels and having some venues and seminars with great name. And we're going to have the fights at the Country Club.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we're going to be hopefully the first fight company, besides UFC, of course, they're the
Yeah.
biggest. But no, we're here not to compete with them. But we could still challenge,
Mhm.
But we want to be go with a company that has on demand.
Okay.
They're-
On demand.
So it's
Okay.
kind of a working partnership I'm putting together here. I'll bring the show. They provide the facilities. They're providing the on-demand. They're providing the live streaming. And we're all partnering in on this venture. And we're supposed to be doing our first shows hopefully soon by the end of the month, summer.
And Danny King brings the musical entertainment, right?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, that's what the hotels are for.
Yeah.
We want to do the music.
Yeah.
Oh, we would love to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had offers with you and everything else to have, some of the nice names, Ludacris, Snoop Dogg, people
Sure,
like that.
sure.
And are you kidding me? That would be a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. And I think I got a little bit of a twist compared to what UFC and these other guys are doing. I think we're a little bit more what they call bang for the buck. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
We have entertainment and everything, and the tickets are just a lot less. And you get to watch it on demand for $4.99 instead of $54.95, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So it's a great opportunity we're looking forward to. I keep praying about it. We've met so many times on it. We were this far away from it being real, and now we're this close to being it real.
Very nice.
It's
very
very
nice.
different. Yeah, I'm very happy about it.
Well, that's huge.
It is huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, David? I definitely appreciate you having me here at your gym
Yeah.
in Huntington Beach, California. And, it was a pleasure, interviewing you here tonight. And I'm sure everyone's going to, definitely be interested. And it's going to be an interesting show for everyone to watch.
I think so.
So for everyone that doesn't know, again, this is David Bronk, okay? Owner of
David Bronk Martial Arts Training Center
and the...
was an Extreme Fighters World Championship.
So look out for him, because he's got some big things coming. Looks like along the lines of being in Vegas.
I hope so. Keep praying about it.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Down to Earth with Day King. Again, Mr. David Bronk. I'm your boy Day King. And make sure you tune in next week, because we'll definitely have another entertaining episode for you. And you know it's going to be hot. Yahoo!